What's up, guys? Huge thank you to @thefunguy_18. He suggested a video similar to this. I took his idea, spun it around. Here we are. This is one prediction I have for every Premier League club this calendar year. So the end of this season, the start of next season. One prediction I have. I want to get these right, but some of them are a bit outlandish. Let's get to it. My prediction for Arsenal is that this calendar year, they will sell Gabriel Martinelli. It's not that he's bad, but I feel like it's time for them to go in a different direction on the wing. They've got Saka on one side, that's great. But I think it's time for a little refresh on the other side, especially if he doesn't start to produce in the second half of the season. I could see them selling him in the summer to maybe a team in Italy. Okay, next up is Aston Villa. I don't have an Aston Villa jersey, but those of you who watched the F1 Premier League intros video know that I wore this shirt for Aston Villa, so I'm wearing it. My prediction for Aston Villa is that they will reach the semi-finals, at least, of the FA Cup. I know the FA Cup kind of just started, so really any team's got a shot, but I have a good feeling that Villa are going to go far in that competition. I also don't have a Bournemouth shirt, but they're red and black stripes, right? So is AC Milan. Anyway, my prediction for Bournemouth is that they'll qualify for the Champions League this season. I don't think they're getting top 4. I think they're going to get 5th. But because of how well English teams are doing in Europe, Chelsea in the Conference League, and you've got several teams in the Champions League and Europa League, I think England's going to get an extra Champions League spot, and I think Bournemouth will get into 5th, and they'll earn it. What do you mean I'm not wearing a Brentford shirt? Half their players are Danish, their manager is Danish. It's basically the same thing. Anyways, my prediction for Brentford is that this summer they're going to sell either Brian Mbemo or Yohan Wissa. I know that sounds crazy, but both of them are having amazing seasons, and Brentford themselves are kind of mid-table-ish, and they're probably going to stay there. So I think in the summer they're going to cash in on one of the two, because there are going to be a lot of big clubs around the world interested in both of these players. My prediction for Brighton is that they will finish in the bottom half of the league this season. They've kind of been up and down under their new manager, trying to figure things out. I think it makes a lot of sense for them to finish outside the top 10. But I have a good feeling about them next season. All right, guys, for Chelsea, this is pretty simple. You probably won't even call this a prediction. It's just a fact. Chelsea are going to win the Europa Conference League. They've been smashing that competition with their B or even C teams. So I really think it's without a doubt they're going to win the Conference League. All right, guys, for Crystal Palace, I'm going to be talking about their manager, Oliver Glasner. I made a couple of predictions in this list about managers, whether they get sacked or not. I actually think Oliver Glasner will not be sacked. I think I'll be sitting here in a year's time, start of 2026. He will still be the Crystal Palace manager. I still have faith in him, and I feel like Crystal Palace will keep their faith in him as well. For Everton, my prediction is they will be relegated this season. I know they have that new Spaceship Stadium coming. They've got David Moyes back as the manager. I just don't see him being able to bring up their form. And Ipswich have been putting up a huge fight recently. I think it's going to come down to the end of the season, maybe even the last game of the season. But Everton will go down. My prediction for Fulham is that they will sack their manager, Marco Silva. I don't know if it's going to be this season or at the start of next season. Maybe they start off poorly and sack him. But I feel like by the end of 2025, he will no longer be the Fulham manager. My prediction for Ipswich, it's related to the Everton one. I said Everton will go down. That means I think Ipswich are going to stay up. They've been putting up a huge fight recently. Like I said in the Everton one, it's probably going to come down to the end of the season. But I just see Ipswich getting maybe 1 or 2 more points than Everton. My prediction for Leicester is that Ruud van Nistelrooy will stay as their manager in the Championship. I think they're going to get relegated. It's pretty obvious at this point. He's not going to save them. But I feel like he's going to show enough that they keep him around in the Championship, and maybe they'll bounce right back up. I don't have a Liverpool jersey, but I really like this jersey, and it's red. My prediction for Liverpool is that they will be outside of the top 4 at Christmas of this year. So Christmas 2025, be about halfway through next season. I think Liverpool will be outside the top 4. Yes, they're going to win the title this year. They're going to celebrate, party it up. They might lose some players over the summer and be a bit complacent. And I feel like they're not going to be like way down the table, but they might be 5th or 6th around Christmas time. My prediction for Manchester City is that there's going to be a summer fire sale. I think we've already seen it a little bit. Kyle Walker's going to leave. We already see some new signings coming in. but I feel like in the summer it's going to be big names, guys like Kevin De Bruyne, Jack Grealish, even Bernardo Silva. I think there's going to be a huge exodus of players from City in the summer after a really disappointing season. Okay, guys, I'm wearing this for Manchester United because it's Christian Eriksen. My prediction for Manchester United is that they will be in the top 4 at Christmas time of this year. I don't think they're getting top 4 this season. They're definitely going to make their way up the table, though, right? I hope not. But they're going to be in the top 4 at Christmas time of next year. Maybe taking Liverpool's place. Liverpool 5th, United 4th. Newcastle's black and white. Juventus is black and white. Anyways, my prediction for Newcastle is that they will win the Carabao Cup. They're in the semifinals. They beat Arsenal 2-0 in the first leg. I see them holding on to that lead in the second leg. And then on the other side, it's going to be either Tottenham or Liverpool. Obviously, a tough game either way. But I think Newcastle will have what it takes to win the Carabao Cup. Don't have a Nottingham Forest jersey either, but they're red and white. My prediction for Nottingham Forest is that they will qualify for Europe this season. No, I don't think they're going to stay in the top 4. That would be pretty crazy. But I think they're going to do enough to get into maybe a Europa League place. Especially like I mentioned earlier, if England gets 5 Champions League places, that means a lower place in the league is going to get Europe, just based on bumping it up. I think Nottingham Forest will qualify for the Europa League. Keeping this on for Southampton, my prediction for them is that they will be the worst Premier League team in history. I touched on this in a short I actually made a couple weeks ago. I said that they have a chance to make history as being the worst Premier League team ever. Well, I think they're going to do it. They're just really awful. My prediction for Tottenham is that they will sack their manager Ange Postecoglou at some point this calendar year. It might be this season, might be starting next season. I just feel like he's not going to last much longer in the job. My prediction for West Ham is that they will sell a big name player in the summer. Maybe someone like Lucas Paqueta. I think they're going to have a horrible end of the season. Graham Potter is not a good manager. I mentioned that in another short that I made. So I have a feeling that they're going to cash in on one of their star players. Probably Paqueta. And lastly, for Wolves, they're orange. This is literally the only orange shirt I think I have. But I think for Wolves, they will be bottom of the league at Christmas of 2025. So Christmas of this year, halfway through next season. I think they're going to barely stay up this season, maybe somewhere around 16th. But next season, they're going to be rock bottom at Christmas time. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know in the comments down below. Am I right? Am I wrong? What are your predictions for your club this calendar year? Let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys very soon with more content. See ya!